Los Angeles Herald-Express reporter Aggie Underwood was among the first to arrive at the crime scene, and took several photos of Short's body and its surroundings. Near the body, detectives located a heel print on the ground amid the tire tracks, and a cement sack containing watery blood was also found nearby. An autopsy of Short's body was performed on January 16, 1947, by Frederick Newbar. Newbar's autopsy report stated that Short was 5 feet 5 inches tall, weighed 115 pounds and had light blue eyes, brown hair and badly decayed teeth. There were ligature marks on her ankles, wrists and neck, and an irregular laceration with superficial tissue loss on her right breast. Newbar also noted superficial lacerations on the right forearm, left upper arm and the lower left side of the chest. Short's body had been cut completely in half by a technique taught in the 1930s called a hemicorporectomy. The lower half of her body had been removed by transecting the lumbar spine between the second and third lumbar vertebrae, thus severing the intestines at the duodenum. Newbar's report noted very little ecchymosis along the incision line, suggesting it had been performed after death. Another gaping laceration measuring 110 mm long ran longitudinally from the umbilicus to the suprapubic region. The lacerations on each side of the face, which extended from the corners of the lips, were measured at 3 inches on the right side of the face and 65 mm on the left. The skull was not fractured, but there was brushing noted on the front and right side of her scalp with a small amount of bleeding in the subarachnoid space on the right side, consistent with blows to the head. The cause of death was determined to be hemorrhaging from the lacerations of her face and the shock from blows to the head and face. Newbar noted that Short's anal canal was dilated at 45 mm, suggesting that she might have been raped. Samples were taken from her body testing for the presence of sperm, but the result came back negative. Short was identified after her fingerprints were sent to the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Her fingerprints were on file from her 1943 arrest. Immediately following the identification, reporters from William Randolph Hearst's Los Angeles Examiner contacted her moths, Phoebe Shorts in Boston, and told her that her daughter had won a beauty contest. It was only after prying as much personal information as they could from Phoebe that the reporters revealed that her daughter had in fact been murdered. The Examiner also offered to pay Phoebe's airfare and accommodations if she would travel to Los Angeles to help with the police investigation. That was yet another ploy, since the newspaper kept her away from police and another reports to protect. The Examiner and Hearst newspaper later sensationalized the case, with one Examiner article describing the black tailored suit Short was last seen wearing as a tight skirt and a sheer blouse. The media nicknamed her the Black Dahlia, and described her as an adventuress who prowled Hollywood Boulevard. Additionally, newspaper reports, such as one published in the Los Angeles Times on January 17, deemed the murder a sex fiend slaying. Initial investigation. Letters, interviews. On January 21, a person claiming to be Short's killer placed a phone call to the office of James Richardson, the editor of the Examiner, congratulating Richardson on the newspaper's coverage of the case and stating he planned on eventually turning himself in, but not before allowing police to pursue him further. Additionally, the caller told Richardson to expect some souvenirs of Beth Short in the mail. 3 days later, a suspicious manila envelope was discovered, addressed to the Los Angeles Examiner and other Los Angeles papers, with individual words that had been cut and pasted from newspaper clippings. Additionally, a large message on the face of the envelope read, "Here is Dahlia's belonging." The envelope contained Short's birth certificate, business cards, photographs, names written on pieces of paper and an address book with the name Mark embossed on the cover. The packet had been carefully cleaned with gasoline, similarly to Short's body, which led police to suspect the packet had been sent directly by her killer. Despite efforts to clean the packet, several partial fingerprints were lifted from transit and those could not be properly analyzed. The same day the packet was received by the Examiner, a handbag and a black suede shoe were reported to have been seen on top of a garbage can in an alley a short distance from Norton Avenue, 2 miles from the crime scene. The items were recovered by police but had been wiped clean with gasoline, destroying the fingerprints. On March 14, an apparent suicide note scrawled in pencil on a bit of paper was found tucked in a shoe in a pile of men's clothing by the ocean's edge at the foot of Breeze Avenue in Venice. The note read, "To whom it may concern. I have waited for the police to capture me for the Black Dahlia killing, but have not. I am too much of a coward to turn myself in, so this is the best way out for me. I couldn't help myself for that, nor this. Sorry, Mary." The pile of clothing was first seen by a beach caretaker, who reported the discovery to lifeguard Captain Job Dillon. Dillon immediately notified Captain Christensen of West Los Angeles Police Station. The clothes included a coat and trousers of blue herringbone tweed, a brown and white t-shirt, white jockey shorts, tan socks and tan moccasin leisure shoes, size about 8. The clothes gave no clue about the identity of the owner. Police quickly deemed Mark Hansen, the owner of the address book found in the packet, a suspect. Hansen was a wealthy local nightclub and theater owner and an acquaintance at whose home Shorts had stayed with friends. According to some sources, Hansen also confirmed the purse and shoe discovered in the alley were in fact Shorts. Anne, Shorts' friend and roommate, told investigators that Shorts had recently rejected sexual advances from Hansen, and suggested it as potential motive from him to kill her. However, Hansen was cleared of suspicion in the case. In addition to Hansen, the Los Angeles Police Department interviewed over 150 men in the ensuing weeks whom they believed to be potential suspects. Rober Manley, who had been one of the last people to see Short alive, was also investigated, but was cleared of suspicion after passing numerous polygraph examinations. Police also interviewed several persons found listed in Hansen's address book, including Martin Lewis, who had been an acquaintance of Short's. Lewis was able to provide an alibi for the date of Short's murder, as he was in Portland, Oregon, visiting her dying father-in-law. A total of 750 investigators from LAPD and other departments worked on the Short's case during its initial stages, including 400 sheriff's deputies and 250 California State Patrol offices. Various locations were searched for potential evidence, including storm drains throughout Los Angeles, abandoned structures and various sites along the Los Angeles River, but the search yielded no further evidence. Los Angeles City Councilman Davis posted a $10,000 reward for information leading police to Short's killer. After the announcement of the reward, various persons came forward with confessions, most of which police dismissed as false. Several of the false confessors were charged with obstruction of justice. On January 26, another letter received by the Examiner, this time handwritten, which read, "Here it is. Turning in Wednesday, January 29, 10 am. Had a fun at police. Black Dahlia Avenger." The letter also named a location at which the supposed killer would turn himself in. Police waited at the location on the morning of January 29, but the alleged killer did not appear. Instead, at 1 p.m., the Examiner offices received another cut and pasted letter which read, "Have changed my mind. You would not give me a square deal. Dahlia killing was justified." The graph nature of the murder and the subsequent letters received by the Examiner had resulted in a media circus surrounding Short's murder. Both local and national publications heavily covered the story, many of which reprinted sensationalistic reports suggesting that Short had been tortured for hours prior to her death. The information, however, was false, yet police allowed the reports to circulate so as to conceal Short's true cause of death, cerebral hemorrhage, from the public. Further reports about Short's personal life was publicized, including details about her alleged declining of Hansen's sexual advances. Additionally, a stripper who was an acquaintance of Short's told police that she liked to get guys worked up over her, but she'd leave them hanging dry. This led some reporters and detectives to look into the possibility that Short was a lesbian, and claim, however, remained unsubstantiated. The Herald Express also received several letters from the purported killer, again made with cut and pasted clipping, one of which read, "I will give up on Dahlia killing if I get 10 years. Don't try to find me." On February 1, the Los Angeles Daily News reported that the case had run into a stone wall, with no new leads for investigators to pursue. The Examiner continued to run stories on the murder and the investigation, which was front-page news for 35 days following the discovery of the body. When interviewed, lead investigator Captain Jack told the press that he believed Short's murder had taken place in a remote building or shack on the outskirts of Los Angeles, and that her body transported to the location where it was disposed of. Based on the precise cuts and dissection of Short's body, the LAPD looked into the possibility that the murder had been a surgeon, doctor or someone with medical knowledge. In mid-February 1947, the LAPD served a warrant to the University of Southern California Medical School, which was located near the site where the body had been discovered, requesting a complete list of the program's students. The university agreed to long as the students' identities remained private. Background checks were unconducted but yielded no results. Stay tuned for Part 3. Humble request, please like, comment and subscribe to my podcast channel. It means a lot for my work.